You might have heard of an advisor who was with a client, very technically proficient advisor, has a great agenda, sits down, and the client is clearly upset. And might even voice their opinion and say, hey, look, I'm so sorry. There was a death in the family, or I had this big fight with somebody, or there's something going on at work. And the advisor says, well, thanks for sharing, or sorry to hear that. Now let's move on with the agenda. I clearly missed that there's some undertones of something that might be beneficial to talk about. So this advisor that I'm describing has no emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is kind of like the counterpoint to IQ. So we sometimes call it EQ, even though it's emotional intelligence, EI or EQ. So IQ is about having the technical expertise, the book smarts. EQ is having the conversational, the relational skills that help get the thing done. And we often treat emotions as annoyances, right? But actually, an emotion is data. It's something that tells us something. When we feel something, there's a reason for that. And so if we can get to the heart of what is going on here, that can lead to insight. If I pay closer attention to my emotions, that can give me some insight into what I'm listening for. It can tell me something about what's going on. So emotions come from, basically it's the body. It's what happens in the body added to a story. We wrap a story around that. Example, I might feel sweaty in my hands. I might have some butterflies in my stomach. I got that kind of woozy feeling. And if the story I tell myself is that I'm scared, then I might call that nervousness. Same feelings. Got the little butterflies in the stomach. I'm a little sweaty. But if I'm looking forward to it, now all of a sudden excitement. Same data, same physiology, same raw sensations. The actual raw body sensations of nervousness and excitement are identical. The only difference is the story that we tell ourselves. So, in emotion, it's not just the physiology, it's the physiology plus the story that we tell ourselves. And we can learn to listen to both. We can learn to notice more what's going on in my body, and then we can learn what story we're telling ourselves. And then we can use this moving forward as a way to respond mindfully instead of react automatically. And for a lot of us, we're so out of touch with our emotions that the physiology is not so much I've got sweatiness in my palms, or I'm feeling lightheaded, or I'm feeling like my face is getting warm, or anything like that. It's I don't feel good. That's it. So there's feeling good, and then there's not feeling good. And then the story might be always the same. If I don't feel good, then I'm angry. Right? Your stereotypical man might be like this. Anything that feels different from the norm would be described as anger. Or sadness. I'm sad if something isn't going my way. But we can learn to pay more attention to where do you actually feel it in your body, and then what story are you telling yourself about it. That's what emotion is. So emotional intelligence, here's the map, is a set of skills that it starts with awareness and it moves into action. So let's take this 2x2 grid. So we've got ourself and we got others. Along the top, we've got awareness, and we'll call it management here. So if I'm aware, if I can notice and become aware of the emotions in myself, that's what we were talking about with recognizing what the story is and recognizing what the physiology is. That's self-awareness. This is the ability to become aware and notice emotions in myself more, become more conversant in what emotions I'm feeling. When it comes to others, if I'm becoming more aware of the emotions others are experiencing, that's empathy. I can become aware of the emotions in other people. So I can become aware of the emotions in myself. I can become aware of the emotions in other people. That's the awareness component of emotional intelligence, just becoming more aware of emotions, both in me and in other people. And then there's the regulation of these emotions. And now, if I'm doing it for myself, the management of these emotions for myself, self-regulation. Now, this does not mean I'm trying to avoid emotion. This does not mean I'm pretending I'm happy all the time. This does not mean that I get to act like a jerk if I'm angry or throw a fit if I'm sad. What this means is that I can act appropriately, I can stay calm despite what emotion is going through me. I can choose to act in an appropriate way. So I'm accepting the emotion and I'm acting in an appropriate way. Again, it doesn't say that I need to be angry or that I need to stop being angry or stop being sad. It says that I can become aware of that and choose to behave appropriately in that situation. And then relational skill is when I'm helping manage the emotions in others. I'm holding space for other people. I'm letting others articulate what's going on in themselves. And when these four components combine, then we become emotionally intelligent. And if you think of somebody navigating, say, a ship, they've got a compass that tells them which way to go. And emotionally intelligent people are kind of like a captain who's using this compass well. And so maybe some waves or some weather pushed us in one direction or another direction. And I use that to course correct. Right? I'm using the compass. I'm using the emotions to inform what I do going forward. And it's all about focusing on what you can control. You've heard that before. Focus on what you can control, let go of what you can't control. But what do you actually control? You can't control your client's behavior. You can't control the weather, the stock market. You can't control the stuff that happens. But you can control your attention. You can control where you place your attention, what you pay attention to. Mindfulness training helps with this because that's, at its core, attention training. If you've ever had any experience with mindfulness meditation, which is training yourself to be more mindful, you pick an anchor, often your breath, and you pay attention to your breath, and then your mind will wander. It will always wander because you have a mind, and minds wander, and then you gently redirect it back to your breath. And then it wanders, and you bring it back, and it wanders, and you bring it back. It's like it wanders. It's like a bicep curl for your brain. It wanders, and I bring it back. So you can train your attention. Pay attention to what you pay attention to, meta attention there. You can also control your mindset. You can control whether you have a scarcity mindset or a growth mindset. Or abundance mindset or a fixed mindset. You can choose whether or not you assume positive intent or you assume ill will. You get to choose the story that you tell yourself. You can pay attention. Attention is going to cover all of these. You can pay attention to the story you're telling yourself. A lot of these are automatic. And you can choose to tell yourself a different story about what's going on. But you can control where you pay attention, what you pay attention to. You can control the story you tell yourself about that. You can control your motivation. You can decide what's motivating to you. Are you motivated out of fear? Are you motivated out of greed? Some of this is automatic. But again, you can become more aware of what your motivations are. You can become more aware of any multiple motivations or ambivalence that you're feeling and choose to move forward. And then finally, you always get to choose your behavior. You always get to choose what you do. So when you pay attention to what you can control, your attention, your mindset, your motivation, your action, you can choose intentional behavior. You can hold space to help people, help others, also move forward with intention. And that's where emotional intelligence starts. Hey, Derek Hagan here at Money Quotient. If this was interesting to you, if this is something that you want to learn more about, this is the kind of thing that we teach at Money Quotient. We teach financial advisors communication skills, facilitation techniques. We teach them about life planning. And basically it all comes down to Stephen Covey's quote, what good is climbing a ladder if it's leaning against the wrong wall? Or if the ladder you're climbing isn't leaning against the right wall, every step you take just gets you to the wrong place faster. So we help advisors, help clients identify the right wall. So if this is interesting to you, head on over to moneyquotient.com. You can learn about our True Wealth planning process, which is our model of financial life planning, which guides clients through 5 stages and 4 inquiry categories. These are the types of conversations that you have. So please let me know if you want to learn more, moneyquotient.com.